Have you heard the tale of Ronald Read, a janitor who died in 2014 with $8 million in savings? Yes, you heard correctly. A janitor. Additionally, he did not inherit any money or win any lottery. He simply made regular savings throughout his life, and he allowed the miracle of compounding to work its magic. The lesson is that your financial behavior often matters more than your brilliance. Even if you don't work on Wall Street or have a school degree, you can become wealthy by simply acting morally. Financial success is not a precise science, as Housel notes. It is a soft skill, meaning that how you act matters more than what you say. Spend the next 5 to 8 minutes watching this video, and your investing skills will grow for you to become an expert investor. The Psychology of Money by Housel is summarized in these top 5 takeaways. I bring to you the best advice and resources for using the stock market to achieve financial independence. First key point is, you must be prepared to pay the price. Imagine that you want a brand new stylish pair of shoes. You visit the store to look at the selection. You really want to do something that will impress both the lovely woman you're dating and your friends. You can now decide whether to pay for the shoe or not. No matter how expensive the shoe is, I would venture to guess that you would still purchase the shoes. You would pull out your card and swipe it, acting morally. The key is that you are aware of the cost associated with purchasing the new shoes. The same way investing also comes with a cost too. There are some key takeaways for high returns that appear repeatedly in the videos on this channel. One of them is a portfolio that is somewhat concentrated, with Peter Lynch possibly being the exception. Your performance will be volatile as a result of the concentrated portfolio. This represents the cost or fee for long-term success in the stock market with high returns. Don't aim to maximize your returns, because the higher the returns, the more expensive this fee is typically. If you don't have the stomach to stick with it when your net worth drops by 20% in a single week, as 2 of your major holdings report quarterly earnings below what analysts expected, don't invest. Suppose you invested in an S&P 500 index fund in 1980. When your investment portfolio was down 20% from its peak, you would still have to endure that for a total of about 13 years. And it was 50% lower for about 8 months. That's difficult. The stock market is a great thing because it makes it possible to build wealth unlike many other options. But don't try to fool yourself, it's not a gift. All investors will encounter volatility. You must view it as the cost you must pay for a better future. Second main point, never enough. When you give someone a $1 million bonus, they may be fine until they learn that the person in front of them received $1.1 million. At this point, they become ill for the following year. 2 things that capitalism excels at are creating wealth and stirring up envy. The desire to outperform your neighbors, peers, and friends can motivate you to put in the extra effort necessary to truly make it. Of course, being inspired to work harder and produce more worthwhile work is a good thing. But social comparison can also make us feel inadequate. People have done many stupid things throughout history as a result of the type of envy that has resulted from these kinds of comparisons. Some people have heavily leveraged their portfolios in an effort to climb the pyramid and reach higher levels, only to lose everything and then commit suicide. Some people have taken action based on insider information, which has cost them both their reputation and later, their freedom when they are put in jail. Many people who have abandoned their families have experienced their partners betraying them, leaving them, or doing both. Third key learning, each person's definition of crazy is different. It might seem like a lot of people use their money in bizarre ways at first. Some people hide it under their mattresses, while others spend it extravagantly on extravagant items. However, it's important to keep in mind that people come from diverse backgrounds, have different upbringings, parents, and educational experiences. The result is a variety of viewpoints and values. I might completely understand something that seems crazy to you. The US households with the lowest income spend more than $400 annually on the lottery. This is 4 times the highest income group's average. Their method of buying into the dream that many of us already live involves purchasing a lottery ticket. Maybe I'm not so crazy after all. So how does this improve your ability to invest? One benefit of accepting our individuality is that it helps us resist the urge to mimic an investment strategy or portfolio that doesn't align with our own objectives. The fourth point is, peekaboo. What do the financial crisis, World War II, the Great Depression, and COVID-19 all have in common? They were all significant societal events that had a significant impact on the financial markets, and were virtually impossible to predict. These events are known as black swans, according to Nassim Taleb. A black swan is an outlier, according to the definition. Nothing that has occurred in the past can convincingly be used to suggest even the remote possibility of the event. 2. It has a severe impact. 3. After the fact, it can be explained. Human nature tricks us into thinking we should have been able to predict it from the beginning. Imagine Black Monday, 1987. How would you have reacted if the market had lost almost a fourth of its value in a single day? Would you have been one of the people who yelled, "Sell, sell," or would you have been able to weather the storm, perhaps adding additional chips that you had been holding back? Here's a fascinating fact. 20 years ago, if you had invested in the S&P 500 index but had missed the 4 best trading days, your return would have been 164% rather than 291%. That is a sizable difference. The lesson here is that it is better to mentally and financially prepare yourself rather than hoping you can act quickly enough in the event of a disaster you cannot predict. Stop listening to macro projections because they are unlikely to predict the future events that will cause the investment community to experience great fear. 5th lesson is the allure of pessimism. If I were to list a number of reasons why the market will crash later this year, including the enormous US government debt, the possibility that stimulus checks will bring back inflation, and perhaps something about new strains of COVID-19, you would probably be interested and might come away with a rather pessimistic assessment of where the market cycle is at the moment. You would probably just shrug your shoulders and not give it much thought. If I instead gave you examples of how things are likely to continue to improve, such as how life expectancy is increasing, how sustainable energy is becoming more affordable, or how computing power is skyrocketing. Setbacks frequently happen overnight, but progress rarely does. Tragedies and failures occur over much shorter periods of time, making it simpler to build a compelling narrative around them. As a result, they attract more attention. We must consider longer time horizons in order to write a future-oriented story that is optimistic. This frequently becomes less dramatic and more hazy. As Swedish author Hans Rosling would have put it so, envy is the worst of the 7 deadly sins. You cannot become wealthy in the stock market without paying the price of volatility. Never compromise what you have and need for something you don't. Different viewpoints lead to different actions being reasonable or rational. Be careful when taking investment advice, and, instead of attempting to predict disasters, get yourself mentally and financially ready so that you can survive them. Recognize that optimism appeals less to your survival instincts than does pessimism. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and also do well to hit the notification bell for more videos like this.